Inflation is crushing the value of deals for limited partners right now, and if that's not keeping you up at night, it should. Because every percentage point inflation eats away at your returns, your capital, your power to negotiate. You put money into funds expecting growth, returns, security, but inflation doesn't care about promises. It's a silent tax that's eroding your entire position, often before you even see the damage. What's worse? The market keeps telling you stay the course, but staying still means losing fast. Limited partners are facing a brutal choice: take the hit quietly or fight back with cold precision. Here's the truth nobody wants to admit. Your traditional investment models, the usual diversification, the blind bids on funds just because they have a good track record, that's not going to cut it when inflation is eating your returns. The simple fact is, inflation inflates costs, squeezes margins, and stretches exit timelines. When portfolio companies get hit with higher expenses, slower growth, and costlier debt, your distributions get delayed or shrink unexpectedly. It feels like crap because you're stuck in deals where the math no longer works, and there's zero room for sentiment. Your job isn't to hope inflation cools down, it's to act now, ruthlessly and practically. First, demand transparency at a level you've never demanded before. Know how inflation is affecting fees, operating costs, debt expenses, and valuations inside every fund you're invested in. Push fund managers to stress test their portfolio companies against real inflation scenarios, not some rosy baseline. If they can't show you with clear numbers how they're protecting value, treat that as a red flag screaming danger. Cut the managers who treat inflation as a side note or a temporary problem. They're exposed, and sticking with them will only bleed your capital faster. Second, adjust your due diligence process on new deals to include inflation resilience as a non-negotiable factor. Ask hard questions. Are these companies asset-heavy or service-heavy? How flexible are their cost structures? What pricing power do they really have? How much debt is on their balance sheet, and what's the interest rate risk? If you don't force these answers up front, you're walking blind into slow, painful losses. Third, rethink your patience. Inflation destroys value over time, so doubling down on long-term without really controlling for this risk is a failing strategy. Push fund managers to build or buy inflation hedges, whether it's inflation-linked contracts, variable rate debt, or contracts with pricing escalators built in. Don't accept excuses like market standards or fund mandates. You're the capital. Your conditions come first. Fourth, actively manage your portfolio by looking for outways to shorten the value realization timeline. Inflation punishes long exit horizons. Find managers who specialize in value creation with clear paths to liquidity in inflationary environments. Slower exits mean more risk and more loss, so your control on timing could be the difference between a return and a write-off. Finally, stop acting like inflation is some external force you can't influence. As limited partners, your capital is power, not just to follow, but to lead. Put your weight behind funds and founders who innovate around inflation, who rethink supply chains, automate operations, and redesign pricing models dynamically. That's where alpha is hiding now, not in old-fashioned buy-and-hold plays. The brutal reality: if inflation keeps rising or even stays sticky, many traditional deals will underperform or outright fail. But if you prepare, demand accountability, hunt for inflation-proof strategies, and control your timelines like a hawk, you turn this challenge from a gut punch into your greatest opportunity. Inflation is ripping through the market, yes, but only if you wait and do nothing. Step up, grab control, and make your capital immune because nobody else will do it for you. This moment separates the serious limited partners from the hopeful ones. Choose to fight. Choose to win. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and check the featured link to discover more.